Hello people, and welcome to r/ShortScaryStories, brought to you by me, Sleepy Dog. Well, my channel, I'm not called Sleepy Dog, that'd be really awkward at school. But yes, we have an Among Us channel in our Discord, thank the Lord, so you can join me and Kyle and Ryan if he can be bothered, and Carl and Jordan. Did I say Jordan? 2 times Jordan. And kill us, or we can kill you. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So, link will be in the description for that. And can't wait to see you and kill you. That doesn't sound weird, does it? Does it sound weird? I think it sounds weird. Well, let's get right into the stories. The first story today is brought to us by Reddit user WordDogger. And it's called The Bones. My ex-husband was a son of a bitch. He was bad to drink, and when he drank, he seemed to enjoy beating the shit out of me. I tried to get away from him several times, but that didn't turn out so well. Almost got me killed. The police, his family, my family, they were all no help. You see, they all saw the good version of Barry. The one who would give you the shirt off his back and wouldn't hurt a fly. They never saw the other one. The version I knew so well. The one who was quite skilled at not leaving marks. I call him my ex-husband. But that wasn't entirely accurate because we never got a divorce. One day, 7 years ago, he just disappeared. Like, into thin air. He stopped going to work. He stopped coming home. He didn't tell a soul where he'd gone. Just poof. No more Barry. Vanished without a trace. Good riddance as far as I was concerned. That's probably how things would have stayed too, but for my neighbour's dog Spike. The day after a heavy rainstorm, Spike had gone digging in the woods behind our yards, and before you knew it, he'd come home with a large bone. A femur. A human femur. It was in bad shape, but still, being the civic-minded citizen she was, my neighbour Kate called the police. Before you could say Jack Robinson, there was an entire forensic team in the woods behind my house, and they were excavating the remains of a body. The news crew showed up as well. Some had even begun speculating about my missing husband. Things were not looking good. I know it sounds like I'm building up to a confession, that I'd taken one too many beatings and had decided to put an end to it. Not that I wouldn't have been justified, but in all honesty, that's not what happened. Like I said, Barry disappeared 7 years ago. What I didn't say is that I had started a clandestine relationship with Charlie, our auto mechanic, 8 years ago. I got to where I'd tell him things that Barry had done to me. Charlie didn't like that stuff. Not at all. Then, one day, Barry just stopped showing up. Charlie and I never discussed it beyond being grateful that the son of a bitch was gone. He never confessed to me, and I never asked. Still, Spike finding those bones was not a welcomed event, and it had me worried. As fate would have it though, Charlie had a brother named Terence. Terence had a PhD in anthropology and was tenured over at the university. Not long after the local news had started running stories about the bones, Terence had showed up at the site with several grad students, and after a quick field analysis had declared the area an anthropological find. The bones, he said, were very old, and thus ended the case of Spike's dig. Go figure. Life went on. For some of us, anyway. Okay, so the the creepy thing, kind of, not more creepy, but you can kind of sense the adrenaline and fear of a finger being pointed at you, and then sort of working out in your head what had actually happened, and then all of a sudden it's just gone, you know? I like how it's written out as well. I like how you kind of, the finger's already pointing at the main character, we'll say, and you know that they've done it or hired someone to do it, or you know that it's around the back of the house, etc, etc. But it's a really nice ending for a piece of shit like someone who beats their wife. So I'm happy, and just for that I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 spooky wookies. I think I'm gonna have to give or get some sort of other rating scale, because some of these just aren't creepy, we'll say, but they are very good. So yeah, give me some suggestions in the comments, please. Our next story is brought to you by My, with 2 Y's in there. So MYY. I've kind of ruined the name now, but I'm going to carry on anyway. There's something about Gary. Gary started working at our company 6 months ago. At first I thought he was kind of cocky, but after we did a few projects together, I got to know him better. I realised he was actually super nice. He treated everybody with respect and was always ready to lend a helping hand. He had the ability of making people around him feel good about themselves. I had always been socially awkward, but Gary was so easy to talk to, and he made me feel really special. He was honest and had a great sense of humour. I looked up to him so much. Gary was a person everybody liked. And he was so freaking handsome too. It was almost ridiculous. Those deep blue eyes made a whole lot of people weak at the knees. I don't know if he dated anyone, but I bet he didn't have to spend his nights alone if he didn't want to. I wished I could be more like him. I was butt ugly and sucked at relationships. Gary lived alone in a house not far away from my apartment. After a barbecue party he threw one sunny Saturday evening, while he was still outside cleaning, I wandered around the house and looked at some photographs above the fireplace. A beautiful mother and a strict-looking but smiling father. Friends and relatives. I admit it, I was jealous, but at the same time I felt so happy for Gary. Later, when he walked in and found me in his bedroom, Gary seemed surprised. Well, I can't blame him. I wasn't invited. But it was so easy to get in with all those people coming and going. And when I raised my knife, he still had that polite and friendly look on his face. He tried to say something, but I wasn't there to talk. It took some time, but after I was finished, I got to take a closer look on Gary. I cut off his left eye and examined it carefully. It was more of a greenish blue colour with a hint of yellow. It was kind of fascinating, but overall it was just another eye. And the blood under my feet was just regular blood. I pulled off his tongue and looked in his mouth. Nope, nothing. I couldn't find anything interesting in the intestines either, and the heart felt normal. I didn't have all my tools, so I couldn't look inside his head. I would have loved to go through his brain. What a shame. I still don't know what makes some people so special. Well, maybe I'll get more answers the next time. Whoo! That is a good story. Creepy. It is creepy. Yeah, you know, again, these stories are just written really well. I'm just glad I have the opportunity to read them, let alone read them out to you guys, so I'm truly blessed when it comes to literature. Yeah, that's the way this was written. I thought Gary was some sort of immortal that kind of like sucks the life out of people and makes himself look very handsome. But no, no, the main character is, yeah, they're a bit crazy, aren't they? Just a little bit crazy. But I mean, they didn't kill for a really, like, sinister reason. They're just crazy. But it is creepy, and yeah, I'm gonna give that a, that did creep me out a little bit. The intestines thing, you know, I don't have all my tools. I'm gonna have to give that a 4.5 out of 5. So, yeah, that was a good story. Our next story is brought to us by You Shall Not Pass 121. And it's called The Sun. Daddy, why can't we see the sun? I asked my father. Because no one would understand you, my sweet, he replied. Daddy, I whispered. Yes, my sweet? Why am I different? I asked, tears filling my eyes. You're not different. You're just special. That's what you are. Avery, my darling, he replied gently, stroking my cheek. There were 3 of us, Savant, Cora, and me, plus our father and mother. Our parents had long protected us from the dangers of the outside and have kept us sheltered. Why, you ask? I've never known. I guess it's because Savant, Cora, and I are different. I don't know how, but it's what Father always tells us. Father always says we were a beautiful miracle, born from a fragmented star. I've always found comfort in that. Father and Mother keep us in a special chamber, deep below their house. They say no one can ever find out that we're here because if they do, we'll be taken far away and we'll get hurt. I often hear Father talk about many white coats. I've never seen them and I know that I don't want to, so I keep quiet. I try and overcome my desires to see the outside world, to see the sun. One night, we were asleep, Savant, Cora and me, and that's when we heard them. Father burst in and he dragged Savant away by her hair. Cora tried to stop Father, but he hit her so hard that it broke one of her legs. Snapped it as if it was nothing more than a threadbare twig. As I tried to mend the fractured bone, the muscle and sinewy tissue, I pleaded with Father. Why was he hurting us? What had we done? I can't let them find you, he uttered through gritted teeth. Cora and I were left alone in the darkness, and all I could see were Cora's terror-filled eyes, shining and glistening in the dead of the night. We couldn't understand. Father always said he loved us. Then we heard loud bangs, and that was when the men came. Men clad all in black. In their hands, they held machines that made our ears bleed. They killed Father and Mother, left their bodies riddled with holes that oozed and dribbled with blood. Before Father died, he spoke. I tried to keep the world safe from them. When the men saw our charred, bulbous bodies, they recoiled in horror. They took us away then, and took us to the men with the white coats, who prodded, poked, and pierced us. They should have left us well alone, though. When we mutilated the men in black and the men in white, we went outside and we finally saw the sun. The sun warmed our faces as we shrieked. It reflected off our many teeth, and we smiled before we swallowed it whole. Okay, that is a very good spin on the end of the world. I'm guessing these are aliens from the star reference. Kind of weird. Yeah, that was pretty creepy. Not overly creepy, but you know, it was a good spin. You know, I was thinking the father was pretty evil, but you know, dragging one off at one time and probably just killing them or whatever. But no, he was He was trying to save humanity by making them think that he loved them, and paid the ultimate price. Yeah, he died. At least he died before, you know, the sun got swallowed. How would that work? I'm just thinking of like the mass size of what these must be. Like when they mutilated the Men in Black and Men in White, did they eat part of them and like grow exponentially? It's just weird. You know, they were under a house and then all of a sudden they're as huge as the sun. Well, bigger if they're eating it whole. Which is, whew, I don't like to think how small and insignificant we are compared to the sun, which is pretty small and insignificant compared to other suns, so yeah, that's pretty creepy. I'm gonna give that, though, a 3.5 out of 5 spooky wookies. So we got a 4, a 4.5 and a 3.5, so again, it's been a really good evening for me when it comes to reading these stories. I am truly blessed. Now don't forget, if you want to play Among Us with me and Jordan and Kyle, Carl, maybe Ryan, if he can be bothered to use his computer instead of his PS4, god damn him, then yeah, join the Discord, put in there that you want to play, and maybe you'll get the chance to kill me or be killed by me. How amazing does that sound? Don't forget to check out the podcast that we uploaded on Sunday. I pulled out all the stops and did some incredible editing, if I say so myself. It was pretty shocking, but it was funny, alright? It's just a meme. So, that is the previous video, and I will leave a link now. Thanks for listening, and take care.